And it's beautiful to see all the young people around in this group, especially because it puts us in to be like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Because as a dealer and an entrepreneur and a seed of God and wanting to come together and build, it's beautiful that like, y'all came to experience like one to what I would say is called pride is to find pride in like what we did, participate, and chosen, just walk the walk. You'll find it. So I go one, but I would say just do love. So yes.
So I have a person. Which the money I get from having that here, this is shit. You want to know what I said? I said, which one of y'all here gonna come out with answer this statement? I'll be done with this. I'm speaking American. Don't you speak American? I said, which one of you, what idea are you going to put together to come out with so much? Nothing else. What idea are you going to put together? What do you have? What do you think? Yeah. You're next. Okay, we'll go this way. We'll go this way. One way, this way. Clockwise. Okay. Everybody got it. What they want to process she was great.
I know, I didn't see you.
Now that's hard how you get to recognize me. I don't know that, man. This is my first time to talk to you. Look, after what? Why are you watering the pond? You know where it comes from? You know where the Bible houses in America came from? You know where they came from? You know where they came from? They had a boat, they had the king, he had the castle, he had the castle, he had water. So in America they made grass. And that's what you guys need to continue. You don't even know why. So you got grass and you got to do taxes on grass and water. But they don't want you to go through it because somebody's receiving it. What are you doing work from here? Go to your yard. So this guy, I was proud of him. He was poor. I said, wow. If you go a garden, breathe better air. You might feel better. Might save some money. Might have some good exercise, right? It's okay. Yes. Speak up here. They can hear you. Well, I'm already better than I can. I live in the apartment area, so there's little kids around us. I realize that the little kids that live in my area, they're getting older, but they're not really like me. It's like the center of the and have opposites. So I literally
how they try to carry that relationship overseas. I just want to learn more about that, or giving back to me, that interest. We would have that, and to piggyback on, it's something I didn't pay my whole, it was something that we have here in other districts, they struggle with like reading so early, and that is hard.
Sometimes it's personal to you instead of the community. I come out, what do you do at home? I go sell all over the county like everybody else. How about that?
I think you have to do small things.
Yes.
Accumulation of small things is a big thing. But if you go from the top and you say you're going for a president, and if you think the bottom is not going to reach the bottom, you have to start from the bottom because essentially we're on the bottom. And our action, we decide with our minds, and then we take the action, and if we do action, and everybody else is doing a similar action, create something. Then the top will start to look down. All hell. There's hell that lives down there. And this is the top that we hope for and we rely. We think we rely on. No, we rely on ourselves.
They tell you what something's so bad. All of listen to people that or had I met them. I work in environmental. Young men do something for your environment. CCC. You know what you do? I'm an environmental vegetation manager. I'm all doing my thing for a living, but when I go to my parties, I go to children's book. I'm trying to help children understand their parents' real. You can't do math if you can't spell. And now we move back anywhere in the world. So you guys are doing what you're doing now. This is what you should be doing.
It's a competition, but it's not at the bottom. So I think I can go to the schooling system.
I think that and the thing is, we have that very successful. But if you ask a random person on the street, not going, they might describe to you like the language. And like the stereotypical success story, what we need to normalize
We're going to wrap up our last thoughts and then come back as a group to share with everybody. So let's start bringing it back. All right, thanks.
I am important. Nobody work like me. I'm beautiful. Why? I'm unique. There's nobody like me. Nobody like me. Solid. So real in my life. Solid. Shut up. Live. In my life. Mama. Shall not live. In my life. Mama. Shall not live. In my life. I am wonderful. I am unique. Do what I do, please. I am wonderful. I am unique. I'm nobody like me. I love. I'm a gift from God. I am unique. Get out your feet and let's say, I am unique. I am unique. I'm beautiful. You be a part of you react to the music. When you are messed up, you react. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Somebody work with your DNA. You. I am for not your neighbor. You have a different space. Because you don't ever apologize to who you are. Like people expect you have to understand. Because you come from the body. Because you don't put you on top. You have to go with humility and love. You got to walk in love. You got to think love. You got to think love. When you get upset, say, I am God. I am important. I make a difference. I am unique. I ain't doing it. I am unique. Now, brother, you step down. But when you're in a situation that really so matter, don't think the moment, think the future. Don't think the moment, think the future. Don't think the moment, think the future. Say it. Don't think the moment, think the future. Do it again. Don't think the moment, think the future. 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 Breathe. Breathe. Think back. Think back. Inhale through your nose. Hold out your mouth. Relax. Inhale through your nose. Hold out your mouth. Inhale through your nose. That's it. Hold out your mouth.
All right.
Okay, good. Get your chair. Go back and do some hand clap.
All right. Good. Awesome. Good. So let's get back in the village. We're going to share. Get ready to share what you talked about.
That was fun.
It was good.
That was great. Yeah, please.
All right, let's
All these
go.
chairs and tables have shifted.
Come with an extra chair, yes. I need one. It's okay, yeah. Orion needs one up here.
Because I like the cell because it's so This is curious what other people are talking about. I was just like,
Oh, same
All right,
up.
settle in, let's go.
Just get a little bit more up to my knee.
SJV!
CCC!
SJV!
CCC!
SJV!
CCC!
SJV!
CCC!
All right. Okay. So now we are going to bring it all together. So you spent time in your different groups. Now it's time for us to hear from you so that those that were not in your groups will get a sense of what you talked about, what nuggets came out of your groups, and how we can keep moving this thing forward. All right? So, for this particular session, I have a request to make. Please, 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 I beg of you, we need silence, we need some order, we need some quiet, because we really need to respect the reports, we need to respect the remarks people are going to make. And so, we recognize that there might be a reason to hold a conversation, and if it's so important, kindly just excuse yourself and go have a conversation and come back in. But while we're in this circle right now, I need everyone to just be considerate. You've gone in your various groups, we've had very interesting conversations, I suspect, and now we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. So those of us that did not participate in your group conversation will get a sense of what you talked about. And we want to move this village forward. So please, no side talks, no high fives, no conversations. Take your seat, pay attention, be present, lend us your ears. This is very important. All right. Okay. So we're going to start with the North. And let me also say this. I know we didn't discuss this before you went to your groups. When you're reporting to us, when you're telling us what you discussed, feel free to be creative. All right? Feel free to use any means that you so please. It's okay. If you want to come out here and rap, that's fine. If you want to sing, dance, show and tell, whatever, it's okay. So, the North, who is going to talk on your behalf? Who is going to report for the North? All right, show some love, come on. All right. You got to tell us who you are. There you go.
Hi everyone. I was originally going to have one of our team leaders at Changes to come up here with me, but that is A-OK, Giselle, shout out. But my name is Meg. I use pronouns she, her, and they, them. I'm with Changes in our wonderful youth. I'm also from Hong Kong, but I moved to Stockton many years back. And yeah, thank you. So we talked about tending to generations through time, and one of our major themes was language. That's a source of where culture is transmitted, and also a source of disconnection, because sometimes it's hard to hear people even in the same language, but like our grandparents, our parents, other people in the community. We also talked about reminding the younger generation where they come from, the struggle that their family went through, family or familial history, letting go of shame, forgiving oneself and other people. And it was really great to hear from this specific dance group that came from Oaxaca. And we talked about how culture changes. Where is it? Thank you for being patient with me. Amy, I think, shared that cultures and families change, so we need to honor what the next generation brings too. So there's that tension of tradition and change. And other folks shared that we could put out calls for stories, encourage artists to tell their own stories and play them. And I think that was really evident in the way that we had some dancers and some artists in our circle. But I want to leave some space for other folks. I think we're done. If you want to check our notes, we'll put it in like a pillar. You can see our notes.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that was beautiful. All right. Let's go to the south. All right, show them some love. Come on.
Hi all, my name is Irene. I'm here representing Two Bird Press today, which is actually on the street. The reception will be hosted thereafter, so come through, set it up real nice. Anyway, we talked about first what is trauma, identifying what it is, how trauma itself knocks you out of your vibration. So, we all have our own individual vibration. When you experience something traumatic, specifically from an outside source, that can knock you off of your vibration. Then you have to deal with the imbalances and stuff that come with that. Traumatic about Stockton specifically, there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of historically messed up things going on here. And that is carried for a very, very long time throughout our soil, throughout our blood, throughout our memories. Things that we may not even consciously experience are still ingrained in our DNA in this life, especially in Stockton. So to organize change and healing in our community, people talk about having cleanup crews, more community gardens, specifically in people's front lawns, converting a space of just green grass that probably is harmful to the environment into, a space for community gathering and getting more food and creating more life. Open mics and also a lot of spaces where people are safe to speak on their experiences, listening sessions as well. Visiting elementary schools and other schools in general, tutoring youth for literacy specifically, working with existing nonprofits. There are a lot here in Stockton that people just don't really know about, so just taking the time to dig into those resources and lean into them more and spread the word about it to people who may not have been reached previously. Spreading positive discourse about the Central Valley to other places. Someone mentioned going all the way to Norway and talking about the Central Valley, so having that throughout the world. Investing in youth more, youth participation in existing programs and activities and events that happen, extending those resources directly to low-income residents, getting people to come downtown more, and getting people to be excited about their city and be proud of their city. Not exactly sure, there's a lot, I have sometimes about that. Somatic healing, releasing that trauma through movement, through tuning into the body. We did a really dope exercise. We all, affirmed ourselves. I felt good. I needed that. Spaces again, action plans that can actually be executed quickly and efficiently for when someone is in need of some support. We have a plan with local organizations and existing resources to help somebody. More public safety, so like firemen, EMCs, people that come to emergency stations. Training the youth as well. Actually from the bottom up, so instead of starting from the top of the pyramid, starting from the bottom, just taking these steps, one person at a time, creating a large scale impact that goes way beyond one person. Showing up to gatherings like SJBCCC, shifting the culture around creating successful people, so encouraging success in people, encouraging success stories, also diversifying what it means to be successful in stuff. And normalizing, and promoting individual success stories that highlight each person's journey and what makes them special. Okay.
Okay, let's go west.
West.
Come on,
us as we shared why we picked this topic. And it came down to preserving the thing that inspires us and continuing our art form, be it Instagram, poetry, or activism, and holding leaders accountable for the things that we want to preserve, preventing pesticides, becoming familiar with those regulations such as CEQA, climate action, the Clean Air Act, and policies, so we can work within those rules and to work within the functioning of local government, as well as the change that we need to see. Many of our members also mentioned organizations that we can network, and the activism is from all generations. So for long periods of time, people have seen things not being done because they used to take a long time, but also to inspire our youth to get involved and become familiar. It is understanding the culture. And so another thing that was mentioned was reorienting our business practices and our land use, regenerative agricultural practices, and becoming more connected, inviting youth to be a part of our land. We also talked about creating cooperatives where community can live and see itself within organizations like Energy Together, and they invited others to become a part of the vision. And I just think that we all really love where we come from. Everybody had mentioned that we came from other places or have moved, but we really love Stockton. So that can unify us to maintain this understanding of agriculture, and where it's not fully clear, it's definitely not a lost cause. Maybe I can introduce myself. I'm Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. And then let's go to East. Come on.
Hello, everyone. My name is Martin. I'm representing the CZC, but I'm all the way from Long Beach, California. I know. So our group, we were talking about loving for the long haul. So some things that we talked about that I feel we should now. One of the big ones, I think, is living outside of your comfort zone. If you don't live outside of your comfort zone, I feel that that doesn't open opportunities for you, because when you're outside of your comfort zone, you can make connections, you could find new things you're interested in, you can meet new people that you could establish new relationships with, and those can lead to new connections, and it goes on and on and on and on. Another thing I think was important to point out was we have common interests. It's hard to push for an end goal if you're pushing by yourself, because it's kind of like pushing a boulder up a hill. Like, you can't do that by yourself. It's a really heavy rock. But maybe if you have a big community pushing with you, that rock will reach the top eventually. If that makes sense, I don't know. Another thing I think we should point out is love relationships. You don't just have to love your mom, your dad, girlfriend, boyfriend. Like, you don't have to also love the city that you're in. You should love the state you're in. You should love the people around you. You should love the people you see sitting on the side of the streets, because everyone deserves a little bit of love in life.
Sorry.
Thank you, Martin. Yeah, there's a couple more thoughts that we wanted to bring up in here. Just, I think expanding on everything that you're talking about, loving beyond relationships, a lot of what came up upstairs. Someone brought up the idea of how do you love beyond what we're conditioned to feel like we're supposed to love. So, like, you know, if we're in the same circles or we're in the same culture, like, what does it mean to love beyond cultures, love entities, like, and just what you were talking about, just like being able to realize that that was actually really needed in like in places like this. Other things things that came up was there's a lot of conversation around life for the long haul being like, how do you support this, like Stockton or you know, the Valley or the community, our communities from the capacity that you're at. And you know, there was a couple people that because the trauma was so hard here, they had to leave Stockton in the process and but still have that love and for this place. And so how do we orient ourselves to give ourselves the grace for ourselves to, if we need to tap out, we just trust that we're in community, family that can nurture needs to be taken care of, and then being able to support from where you are and trying to find that bridge again between people that may have left Stockton but still really love it, and how to create opportunities and ways for collaboration to continue. And other things that, last thing I'll say, there was really a conversation about love and how we can access mental health and resources that can keep our tending the fire to make sure this place gets better. Tend those people and tend those people in ways that feel good. And mental health, not just being traditional mental health resources, thinking about mental health as far as material conditions are concerned. Like how do we make sure people are fed, housed, have resources that they can spend on recreation and on organizing work. We need to make sure that all those are met because our people, if they're well, then they can create wellness for other people. So that's something that we can work to.
Thank you. Okay. So now that you've heard the reports from different groups, let's allow you to reflect on that and let us know if there's something you heard from a group that you are not part of that really resonates with you. Anyone? Is there something that you heard that you would like us to amplify? Or anything that you heard that connects with you? Or something that you heard that you would like to? Okay, yes.
Somebody that brought up celebrating sophomore or the city that you're from in general. I just have a lot of brainstorming sessions right now, trying to figure out ways that we can encourage celebration as a community, or all of our diverse cultures within the city can come together and hold space for each of our indigenous cultural practices, but to kind of recreate it in a way that is very universal to all of us, that it just encourages a sense of like unity and pride in the land that we're in.
All right, thank you.
There was something that I didn't hear mentioned that I think is really crucial. And, well, I talked about Stockton is rich with resources. Like, there are a ton of resources. There's an endless list of nonprofits I could name in this room right now. But what we failed to mention is that we need like a better sense of equity in our community, because not everyone has the same resources to access resources. Not everybody has internet. Not everybody has a computer. Not everybody has, some people live outside the bus stop to take the bus. You know, it's so there's a lot of these things that we try to navigate, especially working in the nonprofit world. How do we get people to show up and use our resources? Well, you know, it's one thing if they know about it, right? But what if they can't get there? What if their family doesn't understand? If their family doesn't speak English, is there someone who's going to go to their house and talk to them and be like, hey, I think a child should be part of our program? So there's a lot of things that we have to keep in mind when we're trying to design these structures we want sustainable in this community. And that part of that is, it's not a failure if people don't show up. It's not a failure. It's a way that we can grow. How can we adapt our programs and our organizations for our community? Design them for the people that we're serving, as opposed to making this resource and just waiting and hoping people show up. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't have an answer. I don't have a solution, but this is, you know, a conversation. So.
Thank you. And I want to follow what you just said. You don't have an answer, I don't have a solution. That's important. You don't all have the answer. This is the village. Just pose the question, put it that we're all in this together. So don't feel that the only way you contribute is when you stand up and offer solutions. Now, question, talk about what it is that you're struggling with, what you're dealing with, what you're encountering in your work and your practice. Bring it to this so that we can all figure it out together. Thank you. One more comment. Anyone else? Before we go, Elizabeth, are you ready? Is your oh.
How are you? You know, I mean, like, I love it. But, hi, y'all. What's up? My name's Queen Raja. I'm here with a different organization, but what I wanted to add is just to put gratitude on the mic. I went to the first one, and then we were talking about coming to Stockton, and I'm glad that we just all here and being a part of prophecy, like literally east, west, north, south, all of us turn that, exactly, turn that. It's literally, you know, this is how it's supposed to be. It's beautiful to just see all of the faces and be in a community. And I just want to put out, I love all the faces, and we're all here for each other. So I know that we're talking about solutions and talking about trauma in the past, but it's beautiful to step in the moment to see who's all here with you, who's all survived, who's doing the work, and we're all singing very, very similar songs. Shout out to my team, Energy. We've been praying for and hope to find spaces to create so we can create opportunities to do this. So, Doctor, we out here, and if you guys want to come, we will definitely be doing more ways to keep showing out, and stay in the moment, and do something new. I want to say, I cuss a lot. Fuck the past. God is here now. All of us survived. It's all about love. So if we keep doing that for each other, let's just make a promise to each other that we're gonna come back if we see something to take action right now. Can I say, let's promise each other. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Oh, wow.
All right. Okay, so today is really layered, and we have a lot to go, a lot of things to pull together. And so right now, we are going to share with you a very exciting project that ACTA, and when I say ACTA, it's ACTA, Alliance for California Traditional Art. And please make sure you get more information. It's actaonline.org, actaonline.org. An incredible, exciting project that ACTA is rolling out for all of us. As you can see, it's not just about talk, it's about action. So we're creating an online platform for all of you. You can literally go to this. It hasn't been launched yet, but we just want to give you a little peek, a sneak peek into what it's going to be. It is going to be a change maker. So Elizabeth is going to give us a little click through, explain things. We're going to need you to make this thing work. We need everybody's information. You're going to be able to put it on there so that we can find you and you can find other people and so forth. So let me not steal her thunder. She's going to explain what. And this is to show you that something is already happening. All right. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you, TJ. Hi, everybody. Hi. Before I start with the presentation about our new website, I just wanted to share about a couple housing things. I'm going to point out Garrett to my left over here. He has menus for lunch, so he'll be going around passing out menus. Please mark what you want to eat, and this will help us make sure that there isn't a massive line that everybody's in and waiting most of the lunch hour for their food. We also in the back with the tie-dye hat, if anybody didn't get around, there's an entire table of prizes left at the stage. So you get around, there's plenty of things that are being talked about. And then for my presentation, and for anybody that travel 25 miles or greater to get to Stockton at this meeting today, come see me and I'll give you a form. We can reimburse your travel expenses. Okay, so any questions about those things? Awesome. All right. So, as I'm sure you're figuring out today, SJVCC is really about connectivity. How do we maximize share resources amongst one another in the communities where we are and beyond that? And so what we've created is the San Joaquin Community Circle. This is just a demo. It's not actually live. I'm going to go through and click on a bunch of things so we can show you. But it's really meant to replicate a lot of the conversations, a lot of the relationships that you're building here in person so you can continue them online through this platform, which is going to be sort of like a website that has blog information, but it's also a really great resource, kind of like social media. So say you are a venue in Bakersfield, which is where I'm from, and you have an open call and you're looking for musicians or a dance troupe. Well, you can go online and search for dancers in the Central Valley that you might want to bring. So this is the sort of infrastructure that we're trying to build for everybody today so that it becomes a lot easier to bridge these connections to continue these conversations. So can everybody see as fast as they can? I know that there's light. If you can't see, please feel free to come up and get closer. But this is our homepage, and right now I have a whole bunch of folks from De La Gueta and from different communities and what's on the website right now. You may also recognize Abdul. And there's space to have a community calendar is pretty important. So when everything is online, you can submit an event. So say you're working with a youth nonprofit and you have your amazing musician showcase. Well, we can take that information and that way folks from all over the Central Valley can find out about that. This is the space where you can start to explore some of the different kinds of creative people that live where you live and throughout the Central Valley. I'll go through this in a second in more detail, but I'm just going to go through the whole homepage. And then at the bottom, you'll see links to in-depth articles, links to maybe different clips of music or different videos of traditions that might be specific to the culture that you belong to or communities that you're from. So once you create your profile, everyone will get an email. If you left your email, if you registered online, we have captured your email. If you did not register online, make sure that you maybe write it on a Post-it or go see somebody at the check-in table before you leave today, because we'll send a link when the website is up and you can go and create your own profile. So this is John Doe. He's an artist. And we know that because here's his name, and this is some of his work. There's a place to include pronouns. There's links to social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and this icon right here are the laptops for the website. You can also click send an email. So say you want to get to know John Doe, you're like, hey, I have a wall, we want to have you paint a mural, I need to reach out. That's how you can get in touch. There will also be, I'm going to bring it up to the top so everybody can see, but there's tags that you can include. So say, like my tags would probably be Bakersfield because that's where I live, visual art because that's what I do, and then maybe some other affiliation like the nonprofit Centro de Unidad Popular, which is one of the groups that I work with, right? There will be space to add a little bit about you, your resume, your bio, whatever you want to add, spaces to upload videos. And also a gallery feature. So if you have multiple pictures, say you are a dancer, a musician, you want to add information so that people can find you, this will be the space that you go to. Those, right now we're working on a Spanish-English translation version. So for folks whose language is not primarily English, if you speak Spanish, I don't know if you can see it down at the bottom here, but there's a toggle button, so you can also toggle into 2 different languages. We're still working on the About Us content, and so what we really want to hear from you today is what SJVCCC means to you. what you think might be an important thing to include in a mission statement or value statement. What are the things that everybody in this room shares in common? What do we all value? Seems pretty obvious once we start talking, right? And also for those of you who are in attendance at the Fresno meeting, here's our group shot from our very first convening. And at some point, we will have a newsletter that we hope to send out so that you can find more information and stay connected. So this newsletter sign up will be at the bottom of all the website pages. We started a resources page. And again, a lot of this is in progress. So the general structure will probably be the same, but some of the details might change between now that you've seen the preview and when it's actually up and online. But what we are really curious about is how do we make sure that we connect people with the resources that they need, right? And what are the kind of resources we want to call out as a collective of cultural workers, artists, culture bearers, knowledge keepers in the Central Valley. So one of those things may be funding opportunities. Where are those resources? How do we make them more equitable? How do we get people connected to not only find out about those opportunities, but maybe you find out about a grant and you're like, this is amazing, I wish I had a grant writer. Well, you can search the profiles for somebody that might have had a grant writing tag, and all of a sudden, this online tool is connecting you to the people and resources that you need to succeed at the projects that you want to see happen. We might have also spaces for artist resources. We're kind of questioning, like, what are the kinds of resources that you guys want to see online? So if there's a topic that you're like, oh, that shouldn't be there, or I really wish this was here, please tell us. We want to know. And again, anything that might help develop technical skills, professional development opportunities. Did you get a mega grant and now you need to know QuickBooks? Like, is there somebody in the community that can offer that skill? Is there a workshop maybe after posting to help you write a better grant? Things like that. The calendar is like any other calendar. This is your opportunity. It'll be a community-based calendar to upload events, like I said. So if you and your friends are hosting an art gallery in your garage, then you can post about the art opening there. And it'll show up, so you can click and discover what's happening. And again, the blog. So one of my tasks as part of the SJV CCC steering committee is to write content for our new website. So if you want to be featured on the blog, if you have a really interesting story, if you have a really amazing skill that you want to share, talk to me, because I would love to interview folks. And again, like everybody in the room, we're trying to get as many different kinds of voices. So if you're young, if you're old, whatever it is, however you define, we want to hear from you. And again, this is another part of the profiles page, so you can log on and update your own information, and then you can also search all the different kinds of profiles of all the people that have joined. So what's going to be really critical here is when you get that email link that says, okay, the website's open, now it's time to make your profile. We're only as strong as the number of people that create one and really use this interface. So please share that information, tell your friends, encourage them to sign up. And again, same thing here. So once everybody fills theirs in, you can come here, you can search, you can just browse by picture. There's content up at the top, so you can click on profile type, art form, city, counties, cultural communities. And right now we have this thing called specific culture because we're not exactly sure how we're going to word that in the future. So if you have feedback or questions or want to help us build some of that language, we're open. And same thing, maybe your cultural expression is through food, and you're making a traditional food that is very unique Great. You can put your business profile up here. So if that music venue is looking for a musician, also needs a caterer, there's another way that you can find them. And same thing, business ID, you can click on and send their email, links to social media, and of course, photos of all the delicious food. And yeah, and so, like I said, this is just kind of the test. It's just bare bones. There's a lot of things that don't work on it right now, but this is to kind of give you a sense and jumping off point visually of what we have planned and one of the tools and resources that we can use as a collective to really help bridge those gaps in between when we meet in person. So thank you so much for taking the time. Do you have a question? Oh yeah, Orion, come on.
Thank you. Let's give Elizabeth a round of applause for this. This resource is super powerful, and I feel like it's something that can really be so much of a game changer to connect artists from as north as Stockton to as far south as Bakersfield, so that's really exciting. One thing I want to also bring up is that, yeah, we're here to do things, change things, shift things up. And a lot of what we do here, I'm sure, right, as a culture community circle is, we're artists. We're people that like to create and make. So one thing I want to say before we transition is just the concepts that you navigated earlier, the north, east, south, west concepts. Yeah, they come from sort of taking the failure, or the perceived failure of last year with the Compass and Complexity with Placeholder, and actually realizing, hey, these are conversations we want to have, we want to keep them going, and we also want to make an artifact of what we're talking about. And so Placeholder and SJP, CCC, we're actively trying to work on, well, some of us, a bunch of us that are kind of putting a labor of love are making an artifact of this gathering as well as just a magazine to make it happen. The Compass Complexity hasn't given up just yet, and these are concepts that we're going to be putting out a call for submissions out in the next coming to print and create something that is holding these concepts and is just memorializing the start of these conversations. They are endless. There's going to be many ways that these concepts are going to take root, but we're really excited about that, and please stay posted on Placeholder Magazine on Instagram for when we put out that call. And yeah, similar to the website, we're just trying to make inter-organizational efforts happen and just make beautiful things together. So thank y'all for even doing that with just your presence. So give yourselves a round of applause. And I'll hand it off to whoever is next to talk. I guess this is free. Oh yeah, it's free. It's free to submit to this website. So it's free to shout out for that. It's free. So.
All right, thanks. Lunch is being set up, and no, it's not time for lunch yet. I'm just saying that lunch is being set up. Yes, you can. And as soon as we're ready for lunch, we're going to let you know. In the meantime, we have a performance. That is a beautiful performance that is going to happen right now. So can we get the lights back up, please? Before, so if you can still, we have some amazing performers that are here that are going to share a couple of things. So can they come up, please, Emmy?
You have an announcement? During the lunch break, if anybody wants to go, we have a conference. Okay, yeah, when we get to that.
really want people to know too. I named it. Yeah, exactly. It's like local. Like that's the thing that I was like trying to tell. Anyways, sorry. Glad you're here, though. Oh, should I do it? Is there, yeah, and is there four?